Alright, today I want to show you the Snowex, I believe it's SR-210 wireless spreader. And I just want to start right off by saying that if you have a big driveway, like I do, and I'll show you my driveway, and I'm sure it's not big by some people's standards, but it's kind of big by mine. So if you have a long driveway, this thing definitely works, and I am happy with it. You know, I'm going to pick on a couple of things about it and show you some of the downside, but overall, it saved me a lot of time, and it really does work pretty good. So it was worth the money. We'll get right into it. First thing is, I don't know if you can see the controller here. Take a look. Big thing for me is it's a little small, and when you're trying to flub some of the settings, it's a little difficult, but it does work, and so far it seems to be pretty rugged. So that's that. And then another thing is, you'll notice here that when you are spreading from the back, and this is just something I noticed, is that you'll get some salt in your tailpipes. But again, just make sure you clean them out. It's just so you're not surprised by that. It does mount to the 2-inch receiver. Comes with a good pin and clip, and when it's empty, it's pretty simple to lift. It's pretty light. Even when you've got some salt in it, it's not that heavy, so just depends on how much salt you have in it, and you can still get it on by yourself. So the other thing here is the antenna is right there. I always like to make sure that before I use it, sometimes it gets bent over. I like to make sure that it's sitting straight up, and then there's of course your connection to your 7-pin. And then one of the things you'll see here, I've got some salt in here that I just want to show you that it does spread. I'm going to set it to half power and just show you here what it does. And then turn it off, and you can see it gets it spread out really well. And this salt right now that I have in here is actually solar salt, pretty big granules, but it works great in this spreader. And I've tested all kinds of different rock salt, from your local home store, you know, to the hardware store type, halite, all kinds of different types, and they do all work well. I haven't yet tested, I guess it's sodium chloride or the pelletized stuff, the real small stuff. They recommend against using that because it'll actually, this hopper doesn't have a gate on it, so it'll just basically just feed itself out without stopping. Like you can see, it's stopped right now. However, with the sodium chloride, it's kind of one of those deals. I bet you it would work. I bet you it would work. So I mean, grabbing a bag and giving it a shot might be worth it. So on to the next thing is that I'm actually really unhappy with is this cover. When they sent it to me, it's a pretty hard plastic, so it reminds me of like the window of an older convertible top. So it was very, very stiff in the package. It was all folded up, and it wouldn't fit. And as you can see right now, I mean, it's not even a perfect fit yet. So I couldn't get it on, period. It just was too small. So I ended up putting it in the dryer for like 4 or 5 minutes on medium heat. And that did stretch it out to the point where I could get it to fit on. But as you can see already, it tore the first time I tried to put it on, because it's cold out here and the stuff gets really stiff. And so already there's going to be a leak in it. But, you know, it is drizzling a little bit here right now, and at least it covers up the salt while I have it sitting out here until it inevitably freezes again. So I don't know if it was worth the money I spent on it. I'm not even going to tell you. It was expensive, and too much so. So it would be nice if they had a better cover for it, or even a flip lid. I know that would make it overall more expensive, but I think it's worth it. And the other thing is, and you'll see I have a fairly steep driveway, and we'll spread some salt and I'll show you what happens. But it does lean. You do have problems with it feeding in sometimes. It really depends on the temperature in the atmosphere. The bigger salt seems to vibrate it more, so it does seem to work better with the bigger salt. But finding some kind of material vibrator that you could attach to here would probably make it even better. And my thought was, if you had one that was low voltage enough to run off the 4-pin, then you still wouldn't need a wiring harness. So I'm still trying to look for one that might do the job, even if I have to wire it myself. But I obviously don't want to fry my wiring harness, so I got some work to do on that. So if anybody has any suggestions, let me know. Okay, so I'm going to take you a little trip down the driveway, but depending on how icy it is, today I'm just going to go down because I've already salted it. I'll actually back down so that the salt is leading me down, and that works well. The other nice thing is my truck has a reverse cam, so especially when I'm backing, I can actually see what's happening back there, whether it's spinning or not. I don't know if you can see this, but we'll give it a shot and see if you can see. So, I mean, you can see whether it's spinning or not. So I'll use that to test it, and again, like when I'm backing down. But today, we'll just take a little ride down here and show you what kind of driveway this does work well for. Let's see, this section is not too bad, but then it gets steeper right here. And then it drops off again right here. It's a real bad section. And then, of course, when you get down to the bottom, you want a good stopping area. So what I'll do is I'll turn around. Hold on. Okay, so here we'll make a real run so you can see how it feeds. And again, I have it in reverse right now so I can make sure that it's running. And my camera will stay on for a couple seconds after I shift into drive so I can see whether it's still spreading. So we'll turn it on just low here. Sometimes when I first start, I'll put it on 100%, get a wider spread. But down here at the bottom, I'm just going to put it on low and sit here for a second while it spreads, or go slow. So here we go. There it goes, and then I'll put it in drive. We'll go forward a little bit. So it's spreading. You can see that. And the camera goes off. And we'll head up the driveway here. Quit yelling at me. I know I don't have my seatbelt on. Just get up to the top here. And then I'll just put it back in so you can see the camera, and it's still spinning. And we'll stop it. So let's go out and see what we got. So, I mean, this actually worked pretty well this time, but I don't know if you can tell, but down in the center there, it's starting starting to pit down to the center. And let me see if we'll do it a little bit more while we're standing here. Okay, so you can see how with the solar salt, it's giving it a good shake, so it's shaking it down. But with the finer stuff, it builds up along the walls and it gaps down in and stops feeding. Now, if you're on a level surface, maybe that won't happen. When I'm going up and down my hill, it has a tendency to stay up on one side or the other, depending on which direction I'm going. So that sometimes could be a problem. But again, it's not a deal breaker. It's just a matter of, you know, putting enough salt in there to begin with, and then when you're down at the bottom, you know, getting in there and pushing it down, and it works well. And again, I just have to end with what I said to begin with, and that's that I am real happy with it. Obviously, you saw I just drive up and down the driveway, and I got my driveway salted. So hopefully this will help you.